The Walt Disney Company is not happy about leaks they have at their Disney parks. We're not talking about the watery kind. No, this time we are talking about videos, photos, and other things from behind the scenes, behind the stages. And folks, we're talking about characters being put into compromising positions by the cast members who are supposed to play them so affectionately. Instead, we've got characters like Mickey, Pluto, and more twerking about and doing obscene gestures. Let's dive into what Disney can do right now. All right, folks, welcome back to another beautiful video here on the WDW Pro channel. It is beautiful because it's a beautiful day out there, and we hope that your day is as beautiful as it is here. If it's not, folks, hang in there. It will get better in the long run. But folks, today we're talking about Disney, and in the long run, they have a real problem on their hands. Why? Because, well, they've got the issue of the cell phone, and it really has gotten to the point where how does Disney stop the problem of 1080p video being captured? Higher resolution than they had for movie production 30 or 40 years ago. Well, those cameras are in the pockets of all their cast members, whether those cast members were well hired or poorly hired, whether or not they are good people, bad people, ethical or unethical. And when they go behind the scenes and when they're in wardrobing, etc., it's a problem for Disney when they are capturing images, photos, and videos that Disney never intended to get out. The problem was much easier back in like the 90s when nobody had phones or cameras just sitting in their pocket or purse ready to capture at a moment's notice. Now that's not the case. We're going to get into this now from The Sun, and I think you'll see very quickly why this is a real problem. The article is by Simon Boyle. It's called Taking the Mickey. Furious Disney bosses call in investigators after disgruntled employees share shocking clips of beloved characters. And yeah, this is a real problem for Disney. I don't know how they're going to solve it easily. Do you make everybody turn in their phones before they can go into these areas? Is that even something that could be done? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could try to enforce it, but it's very hard to have a system in place to get everybody's electronic devices who goes into these areas. Very, very difficult. Disney chiefs are furious over leaked video showing theme park characters twerking. Dancing staff are also seen provocatively removing their costumes in behind-the-scenes footage. Yeah, this is a real issue. We've got Pluto twerking. We've got Mickey and Minnie in what appear to be their new Halloween costumes doing this. So this is happening very quickly. Of course, we've got disembodied heads of characters. We're talking about the masks, the heads that go on top of the costumes. Other images to appear on a TikTok account called Illegal Disney include costume heads of cartoon favorites on shelves. One is set up to allude to Pinocchio appearing to do something it should not with Captain Hook. The antics at Disneyland in California have enraged bosses who are eager to protect the firm's magic at all costs. By the way, folks, we also think some of this is going on at Disney World, unfortunately, as well. They have called in a team of investigators in a bid to root out those involved in filming the footage and those posting it. And fair enough. And in this case, Disney should do that, and those who did this should be fired. However, this is very, very difficult to ever stop, and it's something Disney is going to have to contend with going forward. A source said it looks silly, but for Disney, protecting the integrity of those characters is absolutely paramount. They've asked top investigators to shut down the feed and try to identify those responsible who are in breach of their employment contracts. It'd be nice if some of those top investigators that Disney were hiring were also working on some other cases within Disney that we've been talking about lately, but that's another video for another day. The last thing Disney wants is decapitated Mickey and Minnie heads going viral online, and even worse, anything that looks at all risque or adult. Some of the clips show the characters dancing, twerking in their outfits. It's just not on message. They're one of the most protective companies in the world because they know their biggest customers are kids who don't want the illusion shattered. I would also say, too, Disney, this is yet another reminder that not only do we not want the illusion shattered, but we also want you to protect the children's. Several accounts, including Illegal Disney, have already understood that they've been shut down, but videos and images have been saved and widely shared by others. Staff are known as cast members and are expected to maintain their characters and Disney ethos at all times. Last year, Disneyland was said to employ 35,000 cast members. You can see all of the different masks there, all the different heads. Now, this article says that Disney has managed to get those different accounts taken down off of TikTok. But there's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. That is, no, Disney actually has not. Illegal Disney is back up yet again. Now, I'm not a TikToker. I don't like TikTok. I don't like it as a platform, and I don't typically show it. But in order to cover the news here, we do have to play some of this. So let's take a look at what this is talking about. We're going to do some of the ones that are not too bad, but you can see here we've got, and we'll turn the audio off. But we've got Chip and Dale Backstage. They're doing like some sort of workout thing going on here. If we go down here, we can see that we've got someone putting on the mask of a character. We've got showing how it's done, everything like that. Luckily, not Judy Hopps there. We've got this one, which is Pluto doing something that Pluto should not be doing. Not sure why it's not playing. Who knows? But yeah, so some of these aren't working. So maybe they have taken some of these down. Who knows? But it's a real problem for Disney simply because now, there's the ability for people to get revenge. And apparently there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that is inappropriate. We've known that for a long time. You've probably seen photos from decades gone by where princesses are sitting there, with something they shouldn't normally be seen with. I won't even go any farther than that. But anyway, this has been going on for a very long time. You can't hire every single person in your company to be the most ethical and upstanding person with no vices whatsoever. It's tough to weed that out. The problem now is that all of it can be recorded. It probably has been recorded by people with their phones, having a good time, having fun, being stupid, being silly, and being very, very young and immature. But that can go very poorly for Disney when there are places like illegal Disney on TikTok, when there are these aggregators of poor behavior. That's a real issue. One of the things that's funny here is that Disney, over the years, they've probably not enjoyed, for example, the YouTube channel TPM Vids, where they do the broken down animatronics, the broken down rides, etc. That's not a good look for Disney. And so having that sort of an aggregator of errors and mistakes is one thing. Having an aggregator of behind the scenes backstage stuff, like this one has, you can see what's going on behind the scenes on Main Street USA. Not playing right now. Who knows why again? But yeah, I think it's a real problem. Oh, it's playing now. Here we go. So you can see this is showing Main Street USA, and I believe this one is in Disney World. Give us a second. Yeah, so this is going to be in Disney World based on the backstage area and based on Tomorrowland Terrace. It shows the window up there, and then it's going to show you what's going on behind the window. And you'll be able to see the walkway back there. And so that's a real problem. That's not what Disney wants to be seen, but that's not even close to what, to go back to this, we've got Chip and Dale, and one thing to be riding around your electric bike, another thing to be dancing provocatively. We've got, let's see, here's the twerking going on. So, this is not what Disney wants to have out there. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but there are things out there that are not good that are on this and others. So we'll see what happens. Right now, though, let's go to Cues from You. Folks, if you don't know what this is, we take questions from members each and every week, members of the channel who have elected to subscribe to WDW Pro and then go the step beyond and become a member of the channel. So they get to ask questions each week. We've got 5 such questions we're going to answer this week. And here's what we've got from Indie Phantom, Sofa Cinema. Hey, Pro and Company, with the phenomenal pre-sales for the Taylor Swift concert film arriving right when the WGA and SAG are desperately needing more leverage, I can't help but chuckle and applaud. There's potentially a huge win for theaters and Swift, who is evidently bigger than any living movie star. Any thoughts? Well, Indy, I think you're going to see theaters look to do more of this. We're talking about sporting events being cast in a theater, which is the biggest big screen that you can have, concerts, etc. I think that all of this comes about because theaters don't want to be out of business, and so they need business to be showing inside their screens. And I applaud the theaters for coming up with this. I think that Taylor Swift is going to make a massive headline-inducing amount of money off of this, and that may create a new paradigm in how we distribute concert media. Space Dave 2000 says, I'm tired of dismal Disney, so I'll ask a more exciting question. Favorite Subway sandwich? Well, Space Dave, I don't go to Subway very often, but when I do, I will either get an oven-roasted chicken on Italian cheese, I think is the name of the bread, and tomatoes, tomatoes, spinach, mayonnaise, black olives. What else would I put on there? That's probably about it, and all the spices you can get. Every once in a while, I mean, this is like once every other year, I might get a tuna fish sandwich from Subway, but that's pretty rare. Packing Proton says, compared to Disneyland, I think it's comparable in size. Does Tokyo Disney make more or less considering its standard of excellence? That's a great, great question. Packing Protons, I cannot give you the answer to that, I don't believe, because Tokyo Disney is owned by a separate company from the Walt Disney Company. It is owned by the Oriental Land Company. Disney licenses out all of its stuff to that company, and then that company manages and runs it. That company also orders whatever they want from Disney Imagineering, and they tend to be the only buyer who goes to Disney Imagineering and says, "Go crazy, like let's do whatever." And so when you go to Disney Sea, which is one of the parks there, you'll really see what Imagineering was once capable of. I suspect nowadays that even Tokyo Disney is probably frustrated, that being the Oriental Land Company, because I'm not sure that Imagineering can do what it once did. That's very sad. Now, what do I think that Tokyo Disney is doing? I think they're doing quite well. I think they're doing very well. In comparison to Disneyland, harder to say. But I think if you're wanting to know, does it come close to Disney World? The answer is no. No, it would not even come close. Disney World is far and away the most lucrative theme park in the world. And that is why when we watch Disney destroying that and eroding the amount of money that Disney World makes and the popularity and the love that people have for it, that is a red flag to all of us who watch the company. The last thing you want to sink is Disney World. Just J10 says, let's say that Kathleen Kennedy's current contract has 90 days left. No announcements about her leaving have been made, nor a contract extension. The strike is still going on without a foreseeable end, and the rumor mill has nothing milling beyond expressions of uncertainty. Boy, I like the way you write. What would you do in Bob Iger's position? Well, just J10, if that were to be the case, Kathleen Kennedy's contract ends in October of next year, so more than a year away. If her contract were to be ending in 90 days, of course, that would put us in the summer of 2024. And if the strike is still going on in the summer of 2024, then I will be here covering it, but I will also have to be reconfiguring everything rumor-wise that I have put out there, not because the rumors were wrong, but because Hollywood will be in an utter and total crisis. The entertainment industry will be in a total and utter crisis, and you would probably at that point see the federal government stepping in to try to find some way to fix this, because it would be tanking not only the influence of the West, which, who knows, maybe that's a good thing at this point based on what the West is doing, but it would also be tanking perhaps American influence and tanking the ability of Hollywood to come back again. It also would be tanking largely both the California economy and the Atlanta economy, both of which are strong supporters of the current political party in power in Washington. So you would probably see the feds involved. As for Kathleen Kennedy, I think that would be way down the list at that point of Disney's concerns. Disney, I mean, we would be talking about nightmare scenario for everybody involved in entertainment. All right, and Coach O'Dragon says, this question may be a tricky one to answer, so proceed with caution, as always. Is it possible that Disney Wish could end up on Disney Plus due to word around that a certain restriction may return in September? I assume you're talking about those pesky masks. Cause worries that it may impact the box office numbers, and if something does happen in December, could it mark the end of theaters if movies move to streaming? And is Disney going to continue damage control, spinning the narrative on Ahsoka viewership? Well, Kocho, that is a very cleverly worded question. I applaud you for that. Kojo is asking about if stuff comes back the way that it did in 2020, would that be the death knell for theaters? And it would be a very difficult thing for theaters to overcome. It's also why it's probably unlikely, because it would damage the economy. And I don't think that we're going to see that happen necessarily. We may get some signs pointing towards lockdown, but I don't think that will happen this year. If the government were to become so desperate to try to hang on to power in some way that they wanted to bring those back, that would be next year, not this winter. I believe, although they could do a test run to try and get compliance, don't put anything past them. If you've seen the latest stuff coming out around the Disney World entrance gate, none of that rings to me to be true at all. I think that's a farce. I think that's coming from the same group that would be the ones to do what you're talking about. As for theaters and as for movies, Yes, that would be devastating, and you would probably see theaters go out of business. There would still be some standing, but largely you would see bailouts would have to return and all that. It would be horrible. Now, on to your question about Ahsoka and the damage control. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to lay this out for everybody. Ahsoka is going to have the Nielsen numbers come out. And when those Nielsen numbers come out, which will be in about 5 weeks, that's what we're looking for. We all trust Nielsen to give us the good stuff. Now, there's going to be a very interesting trick that is played on those first Nielsen numbers. Remember that Ahsoka came out with 2 episodes as its debut. And what that means is that Ahsoka will get twice the Nielsen numbers as a normal Disney Plus show coming out. All right, so dealing with that, here's what Ahsoka needs in the Nielsen numbers to be successful. Given the runtime, if Ahsoka does not break 700 million minutes watched in its debut week, given all the things that were done to bolster those numbers, then Ahsoka is a major failure. If it is anywhere from 700 million to 1 billion minutes, then it's doing fine. And then if it goes above the 1 billion minute mark, Disney has a hit on their hands. And so we'll report that honestly. I've already set it up, so I have to stick to it, right? But that's what we will be following to see what happens. The second week, though, of Ahsoka will tell the tale. Honestly, truly, because it's a single episode release, and then we get actual real numbers. We all know how to deal with 3 episodes and a 1 episode release for the week. We all know how to do that. So we'll be watching it. We'll give you the facts as we find them. And no spin here, folks. All right, well, that wraps up the video for today. What did you think about Pluto and the gang twerking and acting like a bunch of crazies? It's all interesting. It's all strange. But these aggregators of Disney behind-the-scenes content, I don't know how Disney's going to stop them. I don't know how they're going to take down the accounts. It is what it is, and Disney's going to have to find better ways of making sure that the people behind the scenes are the kind of people that they would want and trust to have back there. Hopefully we can trust Disney once upon a time in the future to do the same for all of us with the kind of content they create. All right, folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Tell me, what do you think about what's going on in these videos? Is it okay? Is it negative? Is it just a bunch of frivolous fun? Or should Disney bring in the big guns and shut all of this down? And how did I do on my answers to those questions? Would love to hear your feedback there. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having
clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid, there is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.